Two angels argued over a man who'd killed 100. Neither side would back down, so Allah settled it himself. This isn't a folk tale. It's recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, on the authority of a companion named Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. It might be the most quoted proof of mercy in the entire Islamic tradition. Long before this story ends, the man at the center of it was already a murderer 99 times over. Not one death, not 10, 99 separate lives, taken by the same hands, in a community among the children of Israel, Bani Israel. Whatever this man had once been, that number is what defined him now. 99 funerals with his name attached to every single one. At some point, something in him cracked open. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was fear of what came after death. The hadith doesn't tell us the exact feeling, only the result. He wanted out. He wanted to know if a man like him could still be forgiven. So he went looking for someone who could tell him the truth. He found a monk, someone everyone assumed was close to Allah simply because he prayed and lived apart from the world. Being isolated and being knowledgeable are not the same thing, and this is where that difference nearly destroyed a man completely. He asked the monk straight, "I've killed 99 people. Is there a way back for me?" And the monk, who should have known better than anyone, told him no forgiveness, not for someone like you. That answer didn't stop the killing. It caused one more. The man killed the monk too, right there, for the crime of extinguishing hope in someone who was actually looking for it. 99 became 100. Here's the part that should stop you. He didn't walk away satisfied, and he didn't walk away numb either. He walked away asking the same question, louder now, with even more reason to assume the answer was no. Is there truly no way back, even for someone like me? This time he found a different kind of person, a scholar. Someone who had actually studied the deen instead of just performing piety in isolation. And the scholar told him something completely different. Yes, there is a door and it has never closed, not for 99 killings and not for 100. But he added a condition. You can't walk through that door standing exactly where you are. He told the man to leave, not just his house. His whole way of life, the streets, the routines, the people who knew him as a killer. Go, he said, to a certain land. Its people worship Allah sincerely. Go and worship Allah with them. And don't go back to your own land, because it's an evil place, and evil places pull people back into old patterns. So the man who had killed 100 people picked up and left everything he knew. He walked toward a community he wasn't even sure would want him, on nothing but one scholar's word that the door was still open. He never made it. Partway there, death caught him on the road, in the empty stretch between the life he was leaving and the one he was trying to reach. And in that instant, something happened that most of us will never get to witness directly. Two groups of angels showed up for the same soul, and neither one was willing to yield. The angels of mercy said he came out repentant, turning his heart toward Allah with his whole intention. He's ours. The angels of punishment said he never did a single good deed in his entire life. He's ours. They couldn't agree, so Allah sent an angel in human form to settle the dispute between them with one instruction. Measure the distance. See which land his body ended up closer to. The one he ran from, or the one he was running to. They measured, and by what the hadith describes as a single handspan, his body was found closer to the land of righteousness. The community he never reached on foot, he reached anyway, in the only way that actually counted. Mercy took him. Sit with that for a second. This is a man with 100 confirmed murders on his record. No years of good deeds stacked up to balance the scale. No slow redemption arc where he spends decades quietly making up for it. Just one sincere decision to turn toward Allah, cut short by death before he could prove it with a single additional action, and Allah still counted it. The monk in this story wasn't lying to be cruel. He genuinely believed what he said. He was just wrong, and Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, told his companions this exact story on purpose. He wanted them to understand the difference between the monk and the scholar. Real knowledge of Allah produces hope, because it actually understands the scale of his mercy. Ignorance dressed up as piety produces despair, and worse, It calls that despair religion. That's the whole hinge of this story. Not the murders. Not even the measuring of the ground. The hinge is that a man who thought he already knew the answer was catastrophically wrong. A man who actually studied the matter turned out to be right. Maybe you've quietly decided that you've done too much, or gone too far, or waited too long for forgiveness to still apply to you. This story exists specifically to argue with that thought. It carries the authority of two of the most trusted books of hadith in Islam. A man walked out of 100 murders and into paradise on the strength of one sincere step in the right direction, because the door was never actually closed. It only looked that way to someone who never bothered to check, which means it isn't closed on you either.